Hello everyone. Today's interesting topic is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Understanding the details of the disorder. Welcome to Logic Medico, where understanding the concepts in medicine. If you're new to my channel, kindly consider subscribing to our channel and don't forget to press the thumbs up button and share this video with your family and friends. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. So what is this syndrome exactly? As the name suggests, there is poly means multiple, cystic means there is a balloon like lesions on the ovary. Ovary is a female reproductive organ. So it's called syndrome because there are multiple symptoms relating to one particular condition, but the symptoms are related to various systems. So this polycystic ovarian syndrome is a hormonal disorder common among the women of reproductive age group. That reproductive age group starts from onset of menstrual cycle, that is menses, at the age of approximately 11 to 13 years of age in females, and up to the age of menopause, approximately 50 to 55 years. Now it's reduced to 45 to 50 years of age. So that is called the reproductive age. Between this age, there will be menstrual cycle in the woman, that is once in 28 days the cycle will happen. That menstrual cycle, there will be first 14 days is called estrogenic phase because it is under the influence of estrogen. The next 14 days are called as progesterogenic phase because it is under the influence of progesterone. They are all hormones. Okay, so in the first 14 days, estrogen is produced by ovarian follicles, which is present in the ovary. At the 14th day of menstrual cycle, there is ovulation, that is liberation of the ova or the egg from the surface of the ovary. So that is a fertile period, the 14th day of menstrual cycle. During the time of ovulation, the woman gets pain either in the right iliac fossa or the left iliac fossa, suggesting that there is an ovulation or the fertile period. Okay, the lifespan of that ova or the egg is hardly 12 to 24 hours. If at all there is mating at this point, there will be fertilization of the ova or the egg and implantation of the zygote into the endometrium of the uterus, that is conception. So after ovulation, the next 14 days of the menstrual cycle will be called as progesterogenic phase, that is progesterone is produced from the corpus luteum of menstruation. If the fertilization does not happen, then the corpus luteum will die and the progesterone is not there to maintain the endometrium of uterus. But if fertilization happens, the corpus luteum will thrive or survive in the ovary for nearly 3 months, the first 3 months, to produce large amount of progesterone to nourish the embryo. The next 2 trimesters, the progesterone is produced by placenta. So placental growth requires 3 months. So therefore, corpus luteum of pregnancy survives in the ovary for 3 months. So that is the gist of normal things what is happening in the ovary. Okay, so once the ovulation happens, there will be small amount of injury to the surface of the ovary. For some individual, that injury will result in the formation of cyst, and it will be multiple because menstrual cycle happens once in 28 days. So this cyst will appear like a multiple acne on the surface of the ovary. Therefore, it's called as polycystic ovarian syndrome. Also, the hormone, the first 14 days estrogen should be high, next 14 days progesterone should be high. That won't be in adequate amount, therefore they develop the following symptoms. So women with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, may have infrequent or prolonged menstrual period or excess male reproductive hormones, that is androgens, that is testosterone and dihydrotestosterone levels. The ovaries may develop numerous small collections of fluid. This is what I was talking of. Normally, this is normal, small amount of fluid collection after ovulation, but it will regress. But if it does not regress, it will accumulate within the follicles, resulting in polycystic, and therefore fails to regularly release the egg. Because there are multiple such collections of fluid on the surface of ovary, there won't be enough space for the egg to be released, egg or the ova to be released from the surface of the ovary. This is the basic pathophysiology involved in polycystic ovarian syndrome. So in the PCOS, The exact mechanism or the cause for this is unknown, but the diagnosis and treatment along with the weight loss may reduce the risk of long-term complications such as type 2 diabetes mellitus and heart diseases. So we should recognize that the woman has got polycystic ovarian syndrome at the earliest, so that such complications like diabetes and heart disease can be prevented. Coming to the risk factors for polycystic ovarian syndrome. So the factors which may play a role is excessive insulin is blamed to be the cause. So this insulin normally is a hormone produced by beta cells of islets of Langerhans. So it will control our sugar levels. The blood sugar means glucose levels. Okay. So body's primary energy supply is by glucose. So it will be controlled by the insulin. If cells become resistant to the action of the insulin, then blood sugar level raises and body might produce more amount of insulin to compensate for it. It's understandable, straightforward. But this excessive insulin might increase even the androgen production. Androgen is male hormones, okay, testosterone, dihydrotestosterone. Because of this excessive androgen production, that may interfere with normal ovulation in female. The 14th day of menstrual cycle, the ovum has to come out now. It will not come out. When the ovulation does not happen, then progesterone production will be hampered because corpus luteum will not be generated. The fluid accumulates within the ovarian follicle, resulting in the formation of polycystic ovarian syndrome. The other factors blamed are low-grade inflammatory process. So most women with PCOS have got low-grade inflammation. So what is this inflammation? There is some mild amount of infection in the ovary followed by immunity. This immunity may be following an infection or it may be an autoimmune reaction, but that immune response will go and destroy the surface of the ovary, resulting in polycystic ovarian syndrome. Ultimately, this also results in production of excess amount of androgens. These androgens results in the same mechanism. It will interfere with ovulation. Also, this androgen will have deleterious effect on the heart and blood vessel. Hereditary. So research has shown that there are certain genes which may be linked with PCOS. If mother has got PCOS, then the female child of the mother may also develop PCOS. So gene has been blamed for the cause for PCOS. Straightforward, excessive androgen level. If at all the woman has got excessive androgen due to some of the other reasons, then this androgen will interfere with ovulation and therefore with progesterone. Therefore, the woman develops hirsutism, that is development of beard and mustache, the face, and also acne, like similar to because of androgens. Acne will happen, block of the sebaceous gland, resulting in accumulation of secretions, that is a sebum. It can be black-headed or white-headed acne. Coming to the most important symptoms of PCOS. So what is the symptoms of PCOS? Irregular menstrual period. Infrequent, irregular, prolonged menstrual cycle is the most commonest sign and symptom of PCOS. For example, a woman might have got, usually they should have 12 periods per year, but if they have less than 9, each cycle lasting for 35 days, normally it is 28 to 30 days, but if it lasts for each menstrual cycle period lasts for about 35 days or more, obviously abnormal heavy menstrual bleeding will be there. Excessive androgen. This elevated level of androgens will cause physical signs of that of androgen, that is more amount of hairs will get melanin pigmentation, especially in the face and beard and mustache area. So that is called hirsutism. So because of testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, this influences hirsutism in female. Occasionally they develop severe acne problem similar to the male. Okay, male also have acne problem during puberty. So similarly, a female with PCOS, because of excessive androgens, may have acne, severe acne. Also they develop loss of frontal hairs on the scalp, that is baldness, similar to the male pattern baldness. This happens only in few individuals. Next symptom is polycystic ovaries. This on ultrasonography or diagnostic laparoscopy we can see that the ovaries are enlarged in size. Usually we do ultrasonography because diagnostic laparoscopy is an invasive procedure. Ovaries are enlarged, that is more than normal size, and contains follicles which is filled with fluid, and there is ovum present within it. So this ovary might fail to function regularly, that is to produce ova. So most of these women have got infertility, means even after marriage, 2 years of happy married life, they may not be able to have a conceive, or they may not be able to become pregnant. Therefore, this has been blamed as a cause for infertility, the polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now to the complications of PCOS. The infertility is the first and foremost complication which can happen in PCOS, in which the ovum is not liberated on the 14th day of menstrual cycle, so the woman will be infertile. Gestational diabetes, that is because of resistance to the action of insulin, because of high level of insulin is there, but despite of that they got gestational diabetes, or they can even end up in pregnancy induced hypertension, increased blood pressure. So that is also a risk factor. If a woman has PCOS, even if she conceives, they may end up in either diabetes in pregnancy or hypertension in pregnancy. Miscarriages or premature birth of the child after conception, the hormonal status of this woman has to be maintained throughout, otherwise they will end up in aborting the child, especially the first trimester. Should be careful. So otherwise miscarriage or premature birth will be there. Next complication can be non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Usually fatty liver. Steatohepatitis means, steato means fat, hepato means liver, itis means inflammation. So this fatty liver is a complication of usually alcoholism, but these women with PCOS, even without alcoholism, they may have fatty liver, fat accumulated in the liver followed by inflammation of the liver. So they have severe pain on the right side of the abdomen because of fatty liver. It is called as non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. That is one of the complications. Last but not the least complication, metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is a syndrome in which various metabolic pathways are affected because of PCOS. One of the most important things already described, that is high blood pressure, that will be there, high blood sugar level like diabetic like feature, hypertension like feature, even abnormally high cholesterol level and triglyceride level, hyperlipidemic feature. All these, each and every one of these is a risk factor for a cardiovascular disease. So when they are there together, so obviously the risk will be even more severe. Other complications include type 2 diabetes mellitus, or they may end up in pre-diabetic state. Then obstructive sleep apnea, that is a complication of obesity in which large tongue may protrude backwards during sleep, resulting in sleep apnea. Depression, anxiety and eating disorders are the sequelae of PCOS because of the obesity, acne, hirsutism, male pattern baldness. Women will be either anxious or they will go to depression, and they will end up in eating disorders like bulimia nervosa or anorexia nervosa. Abnormal uterine bleeding is also one of the complications. Long term, the woman may have severe anemia because of abnormally large amount of uterine bleeding. So that has to be managed. Cancer of the uterine endometrium, that is endometrial carcinoma, is also a risk factor of PCOS. See what happens, estrogen and progesterone, if they are coming 14 days each, then there won't be any excessive stimulation of uterine endometrium. The inner surface of the uterus is lined by a lining, that's called endometrium. If at all there is unopposed stimulation of this endometrium, then endometrial cells rapidly divide, grow and uncontrollably proliferate to form endometrial carcinoma or endometrial tumors. So that is about PCOS in detail. The treatment of those will be individualized and based on the patient scenario. Okay, so like and share this video with your family and friends. If you gain the knowledge out of it, don't forget to press the thumbs up button showing that you like this video. If you are new to our channel, kindly consider subscribing to our channel and don't forget to press the bell button to get the latest notification of the videos which we upload. Thank you once again from learning from Logic Medico.